So, Xenia, thank you for joining me today on this quick podcast. I want to jump straight in with the topic of today. And the whole point of today is for you to share very briefly about an event you're hosting in London in the coming weeks. And crucially to that, why is this moment critical for finance leaders?
Yeah, thanks very much, Mike. I'm a co-founder of Women in Collaboration, and we're a group that's essentially designed to help all those multiple different female groups within the fintech space kind of work together and cross-pollinate with the objective of improving opportunities for women, not only in the office of the CFO, but across the whole fintech space. And part of that is we do networking events, we do workshops, including brilliant ones at the House of Lords recently. And this event itself, which is navigating change with confidence for the Office of Finance, is part of that series. So essentially, it's designed to attract female CFOs and their proteges to a physical event in London on the 18th of May between 3 and 6 o'clock at the Oracle offices. Why is it important now? Well, we all know there's a lot of economic and geographical instability at the moment, and that has a huge impact on the Office of Finance. And there's a lot of expectations in terms of having to predict the future, where will things go, as well as obviously practical issues such as how do you cope with your liquidity when you're dealing with sort of tariffs and lots of different issues in terms of sanctions. There's huge indications for that. Also, AI is everywhere. There's lots of trendy, wonderful innovations out there to make your life easier, but actually some of these innovations also come with issues of their own. So what we want to do is really get about 100 or so, and I think that's realistic, individuals in a room to listen to a group of experts coming from the initial funding space. If you're a new fintech, how do you get that? Looking to practical steps from a technology perspective. How do you deal with things like legacy infrastructure, integrating AI, making sure that your ERM systems are up to date, and then also doing more of a laser focus specifically around causal AI. So it's an opportunity to listen to experts, network, and more importantly, get those tips that you need to make sure that you are on track to accelerate your career as best as you can.
Perfect. Now let's just drill down just a little bit more. You've talked about the event and the types of people. Drill down a little bit for me. Inside the office of the CFO, who are you really looking for? Who's this event designed for? And what pressures are they under presently?
Well, we're looking essentially for CFOs, finance directors, VPs of finance, so really senior level within those corporates. But also, this is an event about developing careers as well. So we're encouraging those big cheeses to also bring along their proteges. So we're looking to build the foundations for the next stage of superstars. So it's really tailored for people to build their careers. And also, you know, in this day and age, we change industries, we change types of financial institution. So even those CFOs that are well established within a blue chip company, for instance, we want to be able to give them the flexibility to maybe move to maybe working for a startup, for instance. And that kind of strategy is very different depending on that institution. So what we're trying to do is educate CFOs within the corporate space about how they can diversify their career and have that flexibility to move within different types of institution. And why is it important now? Like I talked about this era of instability, that's key. The increase in usage of AI. Legacy infrastructures is always an issue. Often we hear constantly that there's sort of disparate systems all over the place that aren't connected. End-to-end view so important. Even more so, we're in the payment space, right? So even more so if you're looking things like real-time payments. So it's important now also because there are a lot more, I'm delighted to say, there are a lot more female founders who, you know, do take on the office, do take on a finance role. That's by the very nature of a startup. And so we want to be able to give them the skill sets that they need to give them opportunities to move forward in their careers. And I know COVID, we kind of said, right, well, that's the end to a lot of face-to-face interaction. But we're people, Mike. And so we know the most effective form is to meet people face-to-face. Not only in terms of developing relationships, but also being able to ask those complicated questions, those difficult questions, which can't potentially be achieved if it's online. And so what we want to do is cultivate a space for women to grow, and that needs to be a face-to-face environment.
Perfect. And you've said all those good things, and there's networking as well, opportunity.
Loads of networking, and the quality of speakers, the diversity of the speakers that we've got. I mean, they're all women. That's the point of the event. But I mean, in terms of their remits, you know, you've got analysts there, you've got experts in technology, you've got people coming from VCs. So really, we've got the whole cross-section of the ecosystem that's involved in the day-to-day running of the Office of the CFO.
Perfect. So you passionately inspired people to get interested in this event. And if somebody from the Women in Finance community registered, attended, what will happen? They walk away at the end of the afternoon. What would they have gained from that afternoon?
Well, they'll have obviously met a lot of new people. They'll have been able to have a platform to be asked any questions that they have. Nobody's so good at their job that they don't need to learn anything. I think they'll also hear what good looks like from each of the panelists and what they've done to overcome these pain points. So practical examples, not just this is the issue and this is a solution that we suggest, practical, tangible evidence of how they've overcome these objectives. And then there's sort of breakout sessions as well for brainstorming, as well as that all-important networking. So we're trying to be an event of many things, but we're not compromising it at the same time. So it's networking, it's workshops, and it's an actual fact-gathering, thought leadership session as well. It's obviously free, and so all the speakers here are offering their time to genuinely support the mission to help women in the workplace, in fintech, and for this event, particularly in the Office of the CFO.
Okay, and you've talked about some of the community of people you're expecting you're encouraging to come are those who are thinking about the next step in their role, thinking about what their career might look like in finance. You know, we'll have many opportunities to go to things and listen to people, but for somebody thinking about their next role, why is this role important? Why is this event important right now?
It's important right now because of what's happening right now in terms of fintech in the UK, in terms of the expectations, the job expectations that women have now balancing career and also home life. It's important because I don't think there are enough physical events for networking. Everything seems to be, and I'm guilty of it too, by the way, everything seems to be webinars or podcasts, which is brilliant, right? But I don't actually get to meet a lot of people face to face anymore. And for me, relationships is very important. As part of a community, the very nature of a community is that you support each other. You're there as a sounding board. And in order to develop those relationships, it isn't something you can just do by picking up the phone, or it needs to be face to face. And so it's important now for those reasons. We are genuinely here to help women. And you've got I want to just mention the different groups that are involved. You've got women in open banking, you've got women in automation, women in fintech, 100 women in finance. You've got all these different, they're not necessarily all going to be speaking at the event, but individuals from those groups will be represented on the panel. So I think it's that opportunity to cross-pollinate, which is important as well.
So you talk about the event helping people, and I'm interested in two aspects of help. So I go to the event, if I'm part of the Women in Finance community, I hear these people talk, I do a bit of networking, I get a nice warm buzz from the event. As I come away, how will what I've got from that event help me progress and be heard at the highest level within my organisation?
Well, you're going to hear insights that will. Sorry, Mike. You're going to hear insights. You're going to have practical examples of how the panelists and the experts have addressed their individual, the specific pain points that they've got. So that provides credibility as well. So as I said before, there's a lot of expectation on the Office of Finance now, no more so than ever, actually. And so it's being able to walk confidently into a boardroom and say, this is what I need in order to achieve the objectives, the strategy of the business. This is how I'm going to do it. This is why I know that we should do it, because I can give you these examples. And this is the technology that I need, and this is the way I need it to be implemented, and this is how I need to be able to use it across my function to do my job better. So you're not going in there blind, you actually can walk in with more confidence. And also, the idea is that the people that you meet at this event, you then develop relationships with them. So if you do have any questions, or you are worried about some big presentation to the board, you can ring them up and say, hey, Zhenya, got this coming up. It's all about supporting each other. With the breakout sessions, I'm fully expecting, it's not a requirement, but I'm fully expecting those particular breakout groups to form a community of themselves, a support group, after the event. So you've got takeaways from that as well. So yeah, it's exciting, but the quality of the speakers is absolutely superb. I would encourage you to attend. It's 3 hours, but there's a lot's going to be achieved in that 3 hours. So I would suggest if you attend this event, that'll save you probably at least 3 weeks of work in the long run, if not more. So make good use of your time.
Perfect. You've inspired folk to come along and think about attending the event. Just give me one final thought for Women in Finance.
The time is now, ladies, to really seize the opportunity. There's a lot of emphasis on diversity within businesses. I'm not about positive discrimination. I genuinely believe that the women that I work with in this space are amazing. And we need to be able to go out to the boardroom, hold our heads high, not suffer from imposter syndrome, actually get the jobs that we deserve. This type of Women in Collaboration and this event are here to support you. We are a community, and we are here to make sure that you succeed in your career. So give us that confidence, give us that trust, invest 3 hours in this event, and I promise you it will be worth it.
Perfect. Well, thank you for your inspiring encouragement and your promise, Zhenya. Just remind me, when is the event?
The event is the 18th of May in London between 3 and 6, and hopefully, Mike, you'll include the registration link as part of this podcast.
Every podcast says link in the comments below. So link will be in the comments below, and encourage you to listen to what Zhenya said and take up on the opportunity to get over and be part of this Women in Finance event. Zhenya, thank you so much for your time. I really hope the event goes well.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much indeed.